for companies that are looking to get their investment at the early stage. But the later stage companies are a little bit established. They're finding it still quite tough to raise their rounds. But it's a great opportunity for the startups like Shopper.com, etc. So it's the other kind of massive thing that we've been seeing as well is a lot of companies that have had investment, or for example, there's a company in Northern Ireland that was going for 35 million just before COVID. And what they had to do now is they had to get a bridge round. So basically a bridge round is a smaller investment round so they can survive. If you think about it, a lot of people that are cutting their costs will cut subscriptions. That's the first thing they'll cut in tech. So it's a very tough industry. But as I said, that 30 million company was going for that massive round, couldn't get it, so had to go for a 5 million round instead. But that's going to have a huge effect on their later stage rounds because valuations are going to drop everything, and shares are going to be diluted. So it's not great. One positive thing on the investors, and it's fantastic for founders, is the angel market is back online now. So a lot of angels are coming back out of the woodworks to do investments. So at the start, angels didn't want to give away their own money. They were scared. So now angels are actually seeing better deals because funds and VCs aren't touching them. So they're able to see better deals that they wouldn't see being seen before. And that's ultimately fantastic for founders that are trying to get investment right now during COVID, is because they will probably get better terms from an angel than they would from a particular fund. And the other kind of core challenge I've seen is, and I've touched on briefly, is the business development pipeline. So a lot of founders had initial conversations at the start of COVID with big potential clients, and those all went away because everybody was cutting their costs. So what founders have been doing across the board in Northern Ireland and the UK have been offering free solutions of their product instead, which is great. So they'll offer a free version of their product to gain traction and market awareness in these uncertain times, hoping that when things start to settle back down, they can flick the switch and convert some of those free users into paying customers. So that freemium model is huge right now for founders and seems to be very beneficial. And investors for the first time are allowing founders to offer something for free, which has never been happened before. So that's fantastic. And then kind of lastly, in terms of the shift to entrepreneurship of students, what I would say is this is a really, really good time to test new ideas. Everybody's at home. I've been creating apps and doing strange things. It's a lot easier to get a product out there and talk to people over a Zoom call now. You can reach out to people and actually get in front of them. I just want to mention one massive bit of software, which would be fantastic, and it's completely free to use. It's a piece of software called Glide. So it's Glide. It's a no-code app builder which uses Google Sheets. You can basically build an MVP of an app in about a couple of hours. So definitely check it out. The one thing I would say is with students, particularly, they go too fast. They think they have an idea and it's going to change the world, and they pump loads of money into it and they don't do any research and explore if there's a need. So I would always step back, identify the problem, understand if there's a need by doing some customer research, and you can easily create a solution knowing that someone would pay for it. So my advice is, if you have the urge to build something right now, do it. It's the right time. But I would take a step back and do this simple thing. Take a blank piece of paper, write 3 headings: the problem, the solution, and who will pay for this, and you'll be on the right track. So that's everything I wanted to cover. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to take any questions or connect with anyone if they have any ideas for tech startups. Thank you.
Unmute.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for your enriching words, sir. My apologies for being on mute. We are now accepting questions via the audiences, and I will pose these questions as they come, and we would be highly thankful to you if you could shed some light on these, sir. The first question is to Mr. Manoj Krishna Pillai. advances in technologies and science and the march of civilizations have proved futile. What are your views on this, sir?
So, hello. That's a really good question, actually. What I believe is that, at the moment, world went to a panic situation where we have to kind of we never faced this before, and we have to deal with this situation. But what I really feel is that the way we are dealing with the situation, first of all, we went for vaccine trials, and we went for other things to manage the situation. Science and technology is only leading us the way to reach there, where we could actually manage the situation in a way that we will have less mortality rates and a better life after this situation. So I firmly believe that it's not all futile, but we were helpless in the beginning because it was a very different situation, and we never faced something of this sort before. But yeah, the advances in genetics and virology and other field of sciences are helping us get out of the situation safely and fast.
Thank you so much, sir. I believe. Yes, thank you so much for your response, sir. The next question is to Mr. Davidson. The question is, even though unintentionally, do you see technology aiding the spread of the virus rather than it helping to solve the entire situation? Can technology be blamed for putting us into this mess in the first place? If you could shed some light, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Great question. No, I don't think so, and I think technology is actually doing fantastic things in trying to recover our economy. For example, in the UK, I'm not sure what it's like over there, but we have a Stop COVID app at the moment, which is used by using Bluetooth technology in mobile devices. So if you're walking around and you come in contact with someone that has had COVID, you get an alert to your phone, which is fantastic. So I don't think so. I think technology is really trying to recover our economy. And for example, there's a company here locally which sold bike lights, so nothing really to do with tech, but they pivoted into a different angle to create a new solution because everybody's cycling to work now. So a lot of people aren't driving their cars, they're just cycling, getting in the fresh air. So they actually created a fantastic solution for local councils in each country. So if you were, say, in Northern Ireland and you were out on your bike, you could go onto this app and you could request to the councils to be put in a bike lane. So fantastic to try and get, more people outside, more exercise, and get people out of cars and help stop pollution and stuff like that. So no, I really don't think so. I think technology is going to be the shining light and able to help us to be able to get out of COVID, and especially with a lot of the vaccines that are coming. There's going to be, technology is at the forefront of that. And as I said at the start, the tech sector hasn't really been hit massively. Some people have cut their subscriptions, and there is certain industries in tech, but tech as a whole is still doing quite well. So no is the short answer to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your reply. The next question is not directed to any particular speaker, but is instead an open-ended question. So I would request both of the speakers to please give an insight on the question. The question states, what other branches in research have come up after the pandemic? So if you could shed some light on this question pertaining to your industry, that would actually be really helpful to us, sir. Manoj, sir, if you could please.
Could you repeat the question, please?
The question states, what are the marketing field or the technology field, any field per se? So if you could shed some in your
Sorry, I couldn't hear. Your voice was breaking.
Oh, sorry, sir. It's the question again. The question states, what other branches in research have come up after the pandemic, specific in your field, or if any other field, if you could shed some light on that, that would be really insightful, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I will generally talk about like how online retail has evolved like during the pandemic. So that is one of the areas like that's the area I am working on. So so when we started like there was a huge breakdown in the entire supply chain of the retail, particularly the grocery and the household items like we kind of like buy on a day-to-day basis. So the system was made in such a way that like it was dependent on so many countries, so many systems, and so many people to make sure that it keeps moving and it keeps working. So even if one portion, one chain breaks, like it was a huge issue. And what I have seen during the pandemic, like few countries went into lockdown and the entire chain and the entire system collapsed. So we were so dependent on each and every system so that like it has to work for the entire system to work smoothly. And post pandemic, like now we have the first first wave in UK, and now we may experience another wave, but now like we can call it as a post-pandemic situation here in UK, where like we realize that this is one of the biggest problems in the supply chain we have to solve, and there are a lot of efforts went into it, and now we kind of like programmed the supply chain system so that even if one link is broken or a couple of links are broken, like it will still function smoothly. So that is one of the biggest innovation. The retail supply chain was evolved over a period of 100 years in UK, and now we had to rethink about it, and we had to find ways to make sure that it will go even a pandemic like this hits hard. So that is one thing I think this pandemic led us to a huge development in reorganizing the supply chain, particularly like essential FMCG related supply chain in UK and the rest of the country. The same thing happened in US as well. So yeah, it's something which I would say is the result of the pandemic.
Thank you so much, sir, for your response. Mr. Davidson, if you could please shed some light.
Yeah, so I'm going to take it in a different spin, that I've seen a lot of stuff coming up right now. The two kind of core things that in the UK that's been coming up in terms of, I don't really know what I mean by research, but we can put a different spin on it. So a lot of things that have been coming to the forefront right now has been, and I've mentioned some of it in terms of the investment space. So a lot of at the start of COVID, a lot of investors in the UK and even across Ireland were taking advantage of founders. So what was happening is they were basically saying, you need cash, we'll give it to you, but at terrible terms. So a lot of investors were out doing that, and there's been a lot of research going on right now and a lot of reports about those particular funds and investors that have been out there doing bad things. So there's a huge focus in the UK right now to identify who those people are and make sure that, you know, people are aware of what they were trying to do at the start of COVID. So that's a little bit of an ongoing kind of research task that we're actually doing, to make sure that people are aware of funds that were taking advantage of founders, which wasn't great to see. The other massive thing that's pushed, especially with COVID, has pushed out in the UK is there's a huge focus now for net zero. So the UK government has a huge focus on net zero products and net zero technology, because we'll obviously help in with COVID in the overall impact of the economy. So yeah, net zero is fantastic, and we're doing a lot of projects to try and get UK companies onto a net zero growth accelerator program, basically. which is going to shine the light on new technology that's coming through in the net zero space. So yeah, a lot of research being done around investors taking advantage of founders, and the other side is the focus towards net zero to try and help with the overall kind of impact and health and safety aspects of COVID.
Thank you, sir, for your response. I would now like to invite our next speaker for today, Miss Laura. Laura has a multidisciplinary background in marketing and PR, entrepreneurship, and international recruitment. She is the founder at Empowering Futures, an organization that has developed a transformational entrepreneurship program and promotes diversity, inclusiveness, social impact, etc. Laura also leads the business development and student recruitment strategies for Africa and the Americas at the top modern universities in the United Kingdom. She is the communication and portfolio manager at Nao's Home Share and cultural immersion facilitator and cultural representative at Walt Disney World. She has completed her bachelor's in advertising and public relations at the University of Veracruzana and has completed her master's in international public relations at Cardiff University. She is a fellow at the Royal Society of Arts and has also been honored with the Chevening Award in the year 2006. It gives us an immense pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here today. And the thing I'm going to be talking about is, I think, something that is very crucial. We've been talking, on my fellow speakers have been talking about entrepreneurship. And I want to highlight how entrepreneurship is very important in these times, but I want to come from the side of what's happening with the student experience, how the student experience is being affected by COVID-19. And this is all around the world. It has had a huge impact on the education system has to shift completely to a digital system. Unexpectedly, from one day to another, professors, academics, trainers, tutors, coaches, they had to become, specialists in working on digital technologies. And it's been a big challenge for absolutely the whole industry. So first, I'm going to talk about three main topics. First is the student experience. Secondly is the learning tools. And then the last is the skills development, where I will touch back on entrepreneurship. So the student experience right now, it's having a crisis as well, because the whole education system, not only I'm talking about the UK, I'm talking in every single country, has to define a few things. Now, first, the value they are giving to students, where they're turning to, delivering lectures, classes, tutors and workshops by online. That's something that other, organizations have done for already a couple of years. And we see, Coursera in the US, we see Future Learn in the UK, we see Udemy, we see Linda, for example, are already platforms very well established in delivering online education. And now a lot of organizations, all academic institutions, have to compete and deliver that. But then we're also having another issue, which is knowledge. How to make sure that all the students are acquiring the knowledge that the institutions and the organizations have established in their curriculum, and see how can you replicate in that student experience? One part of very important of the student experience is the connections you develop throughout your university years. So we're having the students coming to the first year of university, for example, and the challenge for everybody is how do we make them feel connected with the university, connected with each other, and develop the same kind of relationships that they were developing if they were in a face-to-face situation. I know a lot of universities are delivering blended learning models, which means that they will have a lot of the content delivered online and they will have some face-to-face time with the students. But would this be enough? Would also, this represents that the value of the universities is going to shift and they will have to offer something there, something else to actually justify their existence in these new modern times and in this new normal. Secondly, we're going to talk about, obviously, the learning tools. And I agree that, the IT industry, all the digital has been booming, in fact, with this COVID-19. Actually, even for example, I work a lot in Africa, and I can see that the companies that have the most development, and the same in the Latin America, are all the companies related to digital, especially all those telecom companies. They have seen an exponential growth in this time of crisis, because everyone needs to use the internet, digital tools, make sure they have a good connection to try to get close to each other. So how are we going to develop these learning tools fast enough? A lot of the times, around the world, with many different universities, they ask themselves, okay, who pushed the digital transformation of the education? Was it the vice chancellor or the CEO? Well, now actually the need of this, it's been this crisis that we're all facing. That's the need that we are actually having, and that's what's pushing the learning tools. And again, we're going to have to be more concise when they are learning. So when you're learning online, you have to be more concise. You have to highlight individual needs, and you have to consider the individual needs of the student and their skills and their development. And that's a challenge in the digital landscape, to be able to connect with the student and identify their learning style, because digital will not fit everyone. So that's also very important, because we need to be inclusive in now the learning world. And then I'm going to talk about the skills development. Well, now more than ever, every single student, even obviously professors, everyone in the higher education industry needs to develop entrepreneurial skills. And it doesn't mean they need to be entrepreneur. What it means is they need to develop a set of skills that will help them cope with the new normal, will help them thrive in the jobs that will come in the future. At the moment, there is a lot of uncertainty. And uncertainty is the thing that causes anxiety. And some people get paralyzed for this uncertainty. So the skills that they need to develop are skills that for many, many years have been related to entrepreneurs. And one of them is to be adaptable. So adaptability is very important. The second one is a skill to be resilient, how you are resilient, how you concentrate on your focus, how to build win-win relationship with each other. Now more than ever, everyone needs to think about win-win relationships. And last or not least, how to be a good problem solver. We have loads of problems, and now having the analytical, strategic thinking that a lot of entrepreneurs have is crucial for this new world that we are facing. Thank you. I'm going to let now my next speaker to have a word.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enriching words. Our next speaker for today is Caroline Keenan. Caroline is a project manager of Birmingham Skills for Enterprise and Employability Network, which is a Euro 1.5 billion externally funded student and graduate startup project since 2012. She has established and managed the Austin Enterprise. She has worked as a placement manager at Austin Business School, student placement manager at Austin University, and placement tutor at Birmingham City University. She is a senior recruitment consultant at AF Selection, a recruitment consultant for Charles Fellows Legal Recruitment, a media planner and buyer at RSCJ Advertising Agency, and a sales executive at Border Independent Television, Clerkenwell, London. She has won the National Enterprise Educator Awards for HET Enterprise. She was also a finalist in University Personality of the Year in the National Placement and Internship Awards dated June 2011. She has completed her bachelor's in history from the University of Essex and her MA in managing student work experience with distinction from the University of Warwick, United Kingdom. It gives us immense pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and it's been really interesting to hear all the other speakers. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So so really, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the work that we do with Be Seen at Aston University. It's a student and graduate startup project, and I have been involved as we said in the introduction since 2012. So I've actually helped over 500 startups to launch their business ideas over the last 8 years. Aston is the lead on this programme, but it's quite interesting because we actually work with 3 other universities based in Birmingham, so it's a real collaborative effort, and that's something that we really think is a huge positive of the project. We offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including we offer a range of support for our startups, including